Recently, while reading through the Torah, I noticed something unbelievable. Yet I wondered how many people have ever contemplated its extreme significance. See, I started noticing not just in one place, not in 2, 10, or even 20 places, but seemingly hundreds of times throughout the Torah. When Eretz Yisrael is mentioned, it's followed by long praises and descriptions of its unparalleled importance. Just to give you a few examples, in Parshas Kisavo, Pasuk Aleph, it states, "The land that Hashem is giving you as an inheritance, you shall possess it and dwell in it." The very next Pasuk, Pasuk Beis, it states, "The land that Hashem is giving you." In Pasuk Gimel, it states, "The land that Hashem promised your forefathers to give to us." In Pasuk Tes, again, "The land that flows with milk and honey." Now these are just a few of literally hundreds of places in the Torah where the mention of Eretz Yisrael is followed by long and repetitive explanations of its importance. Now for anyone who's ever learned the Talmud, we know how many pages are written and how many laws are derived from every seemingly extra word or letter in the Torah. But if we would calculate how many seemingly extra words and repeated phrases are written in the Torah with regards to Eretz Yisrael, we would come out with nothing less than thousands of extra words that don't seem to have any purpose other than to heap unlimited praise and significance onto the role that Eretz Yisrael plays in the mission of Klal Yisroel. But to have such a recurring phenomenon throughout all of Tanakh begs the question, why? Does Hashem have OCD? Does he forget how many times he's already written the same descriptions of the land over and over again? Obviously not. So allow me to explain the answer by way of a mashal, an analogy. There was once a boy named David. One day, David's father brought him into a room and explained to him that he was about to entrust him with the most significant and important item in the history of the human race. He pulled out a box and handed it to David. He took a deep breath and explained to him that although this box looks kind of ordinary, it is the holiest and most sought-after physical item in the universe. It is the source of all blessing in the world, and it was the very first item that God has ever created. Every nation and kingdom around the world and throughout all of history have waged wars over this box. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu, David HaMelech, and every single prophet and holy person in each and every generation yearned with the greatest desire to hold this box. And not only this, but the future of the human race, the purpose of all things that have ever been created, and the ultimate fulfillment of the will of God will emanate from this box. Now, although the father saw that his son David was looking at this box with complete astonishment, amazement, and awe, he knew that David could not possibly fathom the extreme magnitude and importance of this box. So each and every day, the father would pass David's room and ask, "Have you been protecting the box that was passed down from our forefathers, the box that they received as an eternal inheritance from the hand of God himself?" The father would say, "Do you have the box that flows with blessing and wisdom, the box that all holiness emanates from, the box that Hashem himself personally watches every single moment, the box that is required in order to fulfill the commandments of the creator of the universe?" The father then went on to present David with 5 books, which contained the history of the creation of the world, and how the creator of all things entrusted this box to our family, and how the creator of the world told our forefathers that it is our job to protect this box and to wipe out any nation that ever tries to take this box from us, because only with this box can we fulfill the purpose of all of creation. The father then told David to tie scrolls to his body, using leather straps upon both his head and his arm, and to nail these scrolls upon every single doorway in his house. David asked his father what these scrolls had written on them. The father replied that these scrolls had written on them our unwavering commitment to serve Hashem with all of our heart, soul, and body, and that this box was needed in order to carry out this sacred mission, and that only through this box can we rectify the world and fulfill our ultimate purpose. So day after day, year after year, David would carry this box with him everywhere he went, never letting it out of sight, loving it and cherishing it with all of his heart. But as time passed, David grew up, and eventually his father passed away, and the box slowly started becoming a burden for him. After all, it wasn't always easy carrying the box with him everywhere he went. His friends would nag him. They would tell him how foolish he was for constantly carrying around this box everywhere he went. They told him, because you carry this box everywhere you go, it's hard for you to make a living. It's even dangerous, because the nations of the world keep trying to take the box from you. It's become such a burden in your life. Obviously, this isn't what Hashem wants from you. If Hashem really wanted you to carry this box everywhere you went, all of the time, He would have made it easier for you. He would have made the box less of a burden. People around him even started calling him names. They called him a fanatic. They called him a crazy Zionist. David even asked some local rabbis if it was really necessary to keep carrying the box around with him everywhere he went, and spending so much time and effort taking care of it, as his father had commanded him. But the rabbis told him that even though it probably was the right thing to do, if his father would have known that the box would become such a burden, he probably wouldn't have commanded him to always carry it around. But David showed the rabbis the 5 books that his father gave him, and he showed the rabbis how many pages were written concerning the importance and the holiness of this box. But to David's dismay, almost every rabbi told him that all the holiness laws, descriptions, and guidelines that were written in the 5 books regarding the box only applied to future generations. David asked the rabbis that if this was so, wouldn't such an important detail have been mentioned anywhere in the 5 books? But although none of the rabbis were able to give David an answer, they told him that they felt he was being too fanatical over the box, and that he shouldn't be taking the words in the 5 books so literally regarding the box. Now eventually, all of this got to David's head, and he decided it's time to put the box away. He took one last look at the box, and he said to himself, "It's a nice box, but after all, it is just a box. And can a box really be worth so much trouble?" But as he was putting the box away, he looked at the scrolls that were nailed to his doorways. And so he took out the 5 books that his father gave him so many years ago, and he opened them up. And he once again saw that page after page, these 5 books heaped praises and praises on the owner of this box. The 5 books spoke about how everything in the world revolved around this box, and how the family who's entrusted with this box should protect it and use it throughout all of history, and never forget how awesome and powerful this box really is. After David saw how many lines, paragraphs, and pages were dedicated to the significance of this box, he said to himself, if the Creator of heaven and earth used up so much space in his 5 holy books to talk about and praise this box, it must be worth it. And so, when we look at the Torah and we wonder why there are seemingly so many extra words and pages dedicated to praising Eretz Yisrael, we may now understand why. See, even though much time has passed since Hashem first gave us this land, and even though living in Eretz Yisrael can seem like a burden, never forget that the Creator of heaven and earth gave us this very land to live in and to cherish forever.